Hello, welcome to my channel StuckFiles. Today we will discuss about why it sucks to be a player with controversial behavior. Tennis is supposed to be a gentleman's sport, polished, respectful, played with quiet determination, and celebrated with polite applause. But when you're a player with controversial behavior, you're not just facing opponents across the net, you're facing the world's judgment. Every step you take is tracked. Every reaction is replayed in slow motion. One outburst, one misstep, and your image becomes your identity. You could hit aces for weeks, win titles, sign autographs for kids. None of that matters. Because all people will remember is that meltdown, that headline, that moment when the world decided you were trouble. This isn't just about tennis anymore. It's about carrying a reputation that follows you like a shadow. And for those who know the weight of that shadow, it sucks. Section 1. Every mistake becomes a headline. In tennis, silence is golden, on court and off. But when you're a controversial figure, silence just means someone else is speaking for you. Every action, every stare, even a racket drop, can spiral into breaking news. Say something sharp in a post-match interview, boom, front page. Throw your wristband into the stands. Suddenly it's disrespectful. Even if your behavior mirrors someone else's, the media won't see it that way. You're the problem child, and you wear that label permanently. The worst part? These headlines don't die quickly. They follow you from Grand Slams to challenger events. From hard courts to clay, you could be 3 months clean, a year mature, 5 titles better. Doesn't matter. People remember the drama, not the development. And commentators? They'll drag your history into every broadcast. Let's not forget what happened at Wimbledon 2022. Even if you're playing flawlessly today, they'll rerun the lowlights instead of your highlights. Fans online aren't any kinder. Social media becomes a minefield. A single out-of-context clip spreads like wildfire. No one waits for context. No one cares about intent. You're just clickbait now. It's exhausting. You stop celebrating fully. You avoid interviews. You second-guess basic emotions like frustration or joy because showing either might get twisted. You're not just playing tennis anymore. You're dodging narratives, fighting public perception. And no matter how much you win, that headline from 2 years ago still overshadows your serve today. Section 2. The crowd never lets you forget. Most players get a fresh start when they walk on court. You don't. If you've earned a controversial rep, fair or not, the crowd brings it with them. Boos before the first serve. Silence after your winners. Cheers when you double fault. You're not just facing your opponent. You're battling thousands of people who want you to crack. They watch your every move, not to admire your talent, but to catch your next mistake. One glare, one muttered word, one smashed racket, and they pounce. They're not fans anymore. They're spectators waiting for drama. And the moment you give them any, they turn it into a headline. Even if you stay composed, they twist it. Too cold, too arrogant, too fake. It's exhausting. You play with noise in your ears, weight on your shoulders, and eyes judging every move. And the truth is, once the crowd sees you as the villain, it's nearly impossible to win them back. Section 3. Other players treat you differently too. In the locker room, reputation matters. And when yours screams controversial, the vibe shifts. You're not just another competitor anymore. You're the one they side-eye during warm-ups. The one they keep at a distance. The one they don't want to be seen laughing with, in case it ends up online. Practice partners get harder to find. Doubles invites? Fewer and fewer. Even basic conversations feel loaded, like they're avoiding something. It's not always open disrespect. It's subtle. Cold greetings. Quick exits. Inside, jokes you're not part of. And if you ever argue on court, even over a legitimate call, they'll say, of course he blew up again. You lose benefit of the doubt. even when you're right. Some players flat out don't want drama, and if they think you bring it, they'll keep their distance. That means fewer allies, fewer people backing you in press conferences, more isolation. Tennis is already a lonely sport, but when your peers quietly decide you're too much, it gets lonelier real fast. Section 4. Sponsors don't want the smoke. Tennis runs on image, and sponsors? They want clean, marketable athletes. If you're labeled controversial, brands hesitate. They don't care about your rankings or shot making. They care about headlines. And yours are messy. You could be winning. You could be pulling crowds. But one viral outburst, one old quote resurfacing, one headline about bad behavior, and suddenly deals vanish. Your peers with squeaky clean profiles, they get the commercials, the photo shoots, the big contracts. You get labeled a PR risk. Even if the controversy was overblown, even if it happened years ago, companies don't want to defend you. They want easy money, and you don't fit the mold. That means less income, fewer media features, and less visibility. Not because you aren't talented, but because you don't fit the narrative they want to sell. You become the face of tension, not tennis. And sponsors, they stay far away from that. Section 5. Media will twist every word you say. For most players, post-match interviews are routine. For you, they're a minefield. Every sentence is dissected. Every pause, every facial expression, every word choice, it's all ammo. Say something emotional after a loss. You're melting down again. Speak confidently after a win. You're cocky and disrespectful. Avoid the press. Now you're hiding. There's no winning. Once labeled controversial, the media doesn't ask questions. They chase reactions. They bait you. Push your buttons. Hope you snap just enough to make headlines. They don't cover your stats. They cover your attitude. They replay your tantrums. They quote you out of context. And even if you handle it perfectly, they still frame it the same way. Outspoken, polarizing, problematic. You start censoring yourself, avoiding real answers, walking on eggshells. Because in this game, the media doesn't just reflect your reputation. They help shape it. And for players like you, that spotlight burns a little too bright. As we deeply discussed everything in all 5 sections, so now you know the price of being the villain. In tennis, you don't need to break the rules to become the villain. You just need to break the mold. Be loud, be different, be unfiltered, and suddenly the crowd turns. The media piles on, sponsors back off, and even fellow players keep their distance. You start every match not just facing your opponent, but fighting a reputation. You have to work twice as hard to be heard, twice as clean to be forgiven. And even then, it's not always enough. The irony? Some controversial players bring the most excitement. They pack stadiums. They make headlines. They give fans a reason to care. But that energy, that spark that makes you stand out, also makes you a target. In a sport obsessed with tradition, being different isn't just risky. It's exhausting. So while the crowd cheers the favorite, you walk into the noise knowing they're not just rooting for the other guy. They're rooting against you. And that's why it sucks to be a player with controversial behavior.